Okay, game 2 is loading. Ascension to Ire. It's PsychoMantis versus PottyPirate. PsychoMantis playing Terran this time, up in the top left corner of Ascension, and PottyPirate, the Protoss, down in the bottom right. So I wonder why we've had that switch to Terran. I wonder what that was. Maybe he didn't like Zerg, maybe he's got a particular build in mind. It's certainly in the last game it looked like it was a planned build, it wasn't accidental, he knew what he was doing with the gas and stuff, and I wonder if this time we're going to see another sort of planned and polished build come out. So, PottyPirate, last time you were able to see off the Lings with clever use of Zealots, and Zealots do well against Lings. You know, the Terran basic unit is Marine, and slow Zealots are not as good against Marines. You know, Zealots are tough units, and if they get on top of Marines, they will kill them. But with some micro Marines being ranged units, the Zealots don't fare as well. And certainly, if you've got a wall like this, should the Zealots try and get in, Marines parked behind this wall, you know, it's a lot of hacking at these buildings before the Zealots do any damage to those Marines, and the whole time they're getting shot in the face. So Zealot's probably not the choice playing against Terran, certainly not until you've got the charge upgrade. Yeah, so rather what I would like to see coming out of Potty is a Stalker build, and he will need gas for Stalkers. Now Potty has, you know, historically been a little bit reluctant to get gas, and we can see again here, you know, Zealot's queued up, so does look like he's sticking to a Zealot heavy build. I'd like to see him continue to build workers, and I'd like to see the gas come down. You know, even if you don't intend to instantly use that gas, you are eventually going to have to tech beyond Zealots. I mean, if you were planning some sort of entirely Zealot build, well, you know, why would you have these queues? Why wouldn't you have 4 gateways and just be spamming the Z button and building them 4 at a time? You know, so he must have in mind some sort of tech path, but no gas for it yet. Similarly, on Psycho's side of the map, I'd like to see continually building workers. There are, to be honest, you know, very few builds in StarCraft where you don't just continuously build workers until you get to the sort of 3 bases mark. It's just kind of, it's just what you do. You know, if your economy stagnates, that's not a good thing. The early game is about either rushing your opponent or building up your economy, so that you have flat out production and can support that. So if you're not playing a rush, you know, you always building workers. And to be honest, even if you are playing a rush, it's pretty common to just still continuously build workers anyway. So we can see in the production tab, Psycho is turning his CC into an orbital command, and that's good. Is also researching combat shield, and that tends to be the upgrade you go for if you are indeed planning some early pressure with a lot of Marines. So let's just check how many barracks there are. There are 3 racks here, but this one has a reactor, this one's building a reactor. So that is going to allow 5 Marines at a time to be produced from these barracks. And now, there's a couple of Marines at the top of the ramp, so that will probably prevent any scouting by this worker. If it tries to get up here, it'll get shot in the face and die pretty quickly. So yeah, quite hard for Potty to get information about what's going on here. Meanwhile, these Zealots are leaving. This train is coming. We can see the army supply significantly in favour of PottyPirate with this bunch of Zealots. If he goes before charge is done, I don't fancy the chances, unless, of course, Psycho makes some mistakes. So what does Psycho need to do to hold this? He needs to know it's coming first up. So, you know, I'd like to see a Marine positioned here, or a worker positioned in the middle of the map or something. If he sees it coming, you get the Marines behind this wall and you grab some SCVs from your mineral line and you put them on auto repair. The way to do that, if you click an SCV and you right click R down here in the bottom right, that puts it on auto repair mode, so it will just repair anything that needs it. If these Marines stand their ground, they are all going to die. He needs to pull them back. If he doesn't pay attention to this, these Marines will die, and they, oh no, oh no, no, Psycho, no, no, the Marines, you know, not any, that's not any good. So that's a real shame. Those Marines had to be behind this wall. Now, 5 Marines at a time are going to pop out, so he can hold this, but he needs to be repairing that, and he's pulled the workers a bit too late. He has pulled them too late, but, you know, get in there, get in. These zealots don't really know what they're doing. At this point, get the Marines behind the workers and put the workers on hold position. This is beautiful. Look at the workers getting in the way of the zealots. This is absolutely perfect. I love this. So these workers repairing each other, because they don't attack the zealots, don't really target them, and are just mucking about. Those, what a brilliant hold from Psycho. Once those zealots were in, it looked like he was in trouble, but whether it was good management or skillful play, who knows. But that was pure genius micro with the workers. Just put the workers in the way. If you attack with the workers, then the zealots will focus them. Being attacked by them, they will attack back. But if the workers are just in the way of the zealots will try and push past them to get to the Marines. So the fact that those workers were repairing each other was just preventing the zealots from making any contact, and these Marines were able to clean it all up. What an awesome hold. So the worker supply is actually in favour of the Terran. The army supply just now in favour of the Terran. Potty has got a large bank but very little gas, so the charge upgrade is done. But interestingly, he seems to have switched production now to Stalkers. Potty, you need to spend this money. This bank that you've got needs spent. So you need to match those minerals with some gas. So get some of these workers into the gas, and you need to expand. And more importantly than that, you need more production structures. You can't possibly spend that much money from just 2 gateways. You know, you're mining money more quickly than you're actually spending it. So you need more gateways to be able to spend that money, and that's what needs to happen. Other side of the map, we can see that Psycho, meanwhile, has stopped producing Marines, it seems. I'm not so sure about that decision, but he has put a factory down as well. I'd love to see the stim upgrade being researched, and you know, this wall isn't a crazy idea. I think I'd have preferred, rather than building it entirely out of supply depots, I'd have preferred a couple of extra production structures. You know, a couple more barracks wouldn't go astray, or indeed build the factory down here or something like that. You know, this is quite a lot of minerals, and look how much supply he's opened up. You know, so I'm not sure about that, but definitely build a wall. It's a good plan, and the command center is going to come down here, and it's about time really for both these players to get their expos up. So the game sort of stabilizes. We had a bit of action. It's now quite even. This worker advantage, let's see, you know, what that means in terms of income. You can see that it's reasonably significant. He does have an orbital command, has got the mule as well, and those mules do make quite a big difference. And now this is a good location to keep your army when you're on this map, because it defends your men from both directions. But it looks like Potty wants to get aggressive again. This time he has got a sentry with him, and that's a great shot, because against the Marines, the Guardian Shield from the sentry does a lot, makes quite a significant difference. But these this wall is going to make it very difficult for him to get it, and that's brilliant. The bunker in behind the wall, perfect, couldn't be better. So he'll actually see this off with ease, to be honest, if this does have a poke, especially once that bunker's finished. Bunkers are not only tough and protect your Marines, but they actually give them +2 range as well, so Marines in a bunker can shoot things further away. So a bunker behind this wall, you know, against zealots will shred. Scans go down, so loads of scans going down. So he sees all of his opponent's base, the entirety of it, sees that he doesn't have a third, sees that the second isn't really mining, sees upgrades going on here, and only these two production structures. Oh, here we go. So these zealots are not going to fare well here, surely. These marines see off the mothership core, they will see off these zealots without too much bother. The stalkers do well against marines, but not when it's so heavily outnumbered. So he needs to get something repairing this wall, and he has done. This is very solid play from Psycho. I like what I'm saying. I want this command center to be upgraded to the orbital command as well, so that you can drop mules from both. And I'd also like to see the factory being put to use. You know, the factory was completed some time ago, but I don't think a single unit has been built from it yet. We do have double starport built here as well, and again, neither of those actually producing anything. So you know, don't forget to actually build stuff with your production structures. Potty is non-mining, you know, 3 idle workers here, not the absolute end of the world or anything like that, but you know, they would be doing better if they were mining some stuff. Chrono's the gateway, but you know, you're still accumulating money. You do not have enough production structures, and that's what needs to change in Potty's build. He's getting to grips with the economy. He's got his natural expand up. It is beginning to mine, but he needs more production structures. Otherwise, he's just going to end the game with huge amounts of money that weren't units. Now, Medivacs coming out of this starport. Is this a reactor as well? So it can now build Medivacs 4 at a time. A reasonable little force of marines parked here, and can build marines, and is building marines 5 at a time. The stim upgrade is now done, so I like the position for Psycho. He's not in bad shape. He has tech ready. The engineering base will allow him to you know, research both of these simultaneously, but if he does want to go past +1, he needs to build an armory as well. And generally, if you've started these upgrades, you can see the sort of timing on that, 114 seconds. If I look in here, you can see that building the armory only takes 46. So when your upgrades are about halfway done, if you drop the armory, you're in a good place to start 2-2 as soon as that armory is finished. So siege tank building now. He could transfer these workers, you know, hover over your command center, it tells you how many workers you've got. So there's 6 more workers mining here than there needs to be, so you could transfer these down to the low ground so that they're mining from down there. Potty meanwhile finishes up the dark shrine and is is still just queuing zealots. So I'm not sure what he intends to do with this dark shrine. He's got a lot of gas, and to be honest, you know, trying to get a DT into a well-defended Terran base, quite tricky, because it won't be able to get through the wall easily, and if the Terran is aware that there's DTs there, he can, of course, drop a scan. I like what I'm seeing here a whole lot, but you need to go. You need to go. Now, has he dropped any scans recently? I'm not sure. You know, one of the a sort of word of caution that I would offer, if you're going to do a doom drop, as he is planning here, you know, just loading everything up into medivacs to drop into your opponent's base, I'm all for that. That's a fantastic move to make. But before you load everything into the medivacs, make sure you know where your opponent's army is. There's nothing more miserable than boosting your medivacs across the map, and you know, when they get halfway across, all of a sudden your opponent's army is at your front door and you've got nothing to defend. So I'd have liked, just as I said, the scans come down, so he sees that Potty is at home with these zealots. What does he decide to do? What do? You've got a lot of stuff here. This siege tank can do very, very well. You know, if you drop it into this area and siege it up, it's within range of this stuff. There's plenty of production facilities that it can start destroying. You drop your marines around it, nothing can get near it. You're, you know, very, very hard for Potty to deal with. Psycho? Indeed, Psycho. Going ham with these bunkers. I'd like to see another siege tank in production. I'd like to see you still building marines, because look, this production tab is empty, and look, 3,000 and 2,000 is what's in the bank. You know, Potty, perhaps not sure how to spend his money, but you won't do it by having idle buildings like this. Look, you've got this Dark Shrine. You know, where are the Dark Templars? You've got 1,500 gas. Build some Dark Templars. You know, Dark Templars you can merge into Archons, or Darkons if you prefer, and you know, DT Archons are expensive compared to regular Templar Archons, but when you've got this much money, that simply doesn't matter. They're great units. So if Psycho plays this correctly, he could do serious damage here. Look at the army supply imbalance, it's huge. So he wants to creep forward, siege the tank up, or not. These charge lots will do pretty well, but you know, not if they just run round and round in circles. Are they trying to get to the siege tank or something? I'm not really sure what that was about. I'm not really sure what went on there, but the zealots just weren't attacking. So this suddenly looks very bad for Potty. He has essentially no army left. This mothership core will last about half a second against that many marines. If they do decide to turn around and shoot it, he's going to be de-pyloned. That is going to prevent production. You know, what he needs to do is warp in Dark Templars. That's the only thing that can save him, and to be honest, even that possibly won't. But I don't see any Dark T. Oh no, there is one building. Where is it? What? Where are the Dark Templars? Are they? They're on the other side of the map. But Potty, but Potty, look, you've got issues. You've got issues at home. Okay, well, you know, maybe he's thinking, I've got plenty of money, I can rebuild a base on the other side of the map. It's not crazy. In that case, do it. Get this worker to plant a nexus, throw it down over here, or something like that. Oh no, I think that might have been a misclick or something. The DT's got to here, and he just turned them straight into an Archon in full view of his opponent, and that's GG. So yeah, some reasonably dubious decisions going on there. Hang on, wait, what? This one I don't quite understand. These DTs at home could have been very effective in defense. You know, DT's one shot marine single slice. So at one point he had 3 warp gates, 3 DTs could have done significant amount of damage to that force before the scan would have caught them. But really, I don't know what that whole dancing was about. Oh, I missed it again. I still don't know what happened. But there wasn't a scan, so you know, if he'd have kept those as Dark Templars, none of this stuff could have seen them. I don't know what would have happened. Was there energy for a scan? Loads. So you know, it would have bought time, but nothing else. So definitely a few mistakes made there. But a pretty robust hold from Psycho earlier in the game to stay in it. Potty, I feel, needs to diversify his tech a little bit, and you know, both players just need to keep an eye on that top right corner and do more to spend the money. If it's building up, build more buildings, build more, you know, give yourself more ways to spend it, basically. So, one game apiece. I think the third map that we're going to see is Mech Depot. It's a beast of a map, pretty large map. So we'll, yeah, let's see whether the Turtling Terran can bring it home, or whether the Zealot Charge will win for ire. Who knows? GG.